I'm so excited. Hey, I'm so excited to be back. I'm so excited to be back. I'm so excited to be back. I'm so excited. I'm so excited. Okay. Good morning. 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 Welcome to May 26, 2021. I'm so happy to be here. I'm so happy to be here with you. It's a wonderful, wonderful day on this planet. My name is Nia Waterhouse. This is my morning meditation series. And I'm so excited. Let's get started. Okay, so I always like to start with a prayer of intention for our space together. And then we'll get into just some words, some affirmations, we'll get into our spirit, we'll get into our joy, we'll get into creating our vision for ourselves and our day. Okay, let's get started. Most gracious, most loving, most awesome, most beautiful, most kind, most gentle, most refining, most powerful creator, mother and father, guides, thank you for bringing us once again into this beautiful day. Thank you for bringing us once again into this perfect timing. Thank you for bringing us once again safely through the night into this here morning where we can again join up with our true selves, link up with our community, be rooted in our heart, and speak love and speak power and speak grace and speak peace over our own lives and the lives of those around us. Allow us in this, our meditation space, to be able to enjoy our being, to revel in our breathing, and to be humbled by your presence. Let us be able to revel in our breathing, to be rooted in our hearts, and to be humbled in your presence. Amen. Amen. Okay. Okay, let's do 3 of those deep breaths to just clear out all of the old stagnant energy in our lungs and to just bring in the new, refreshed, powerful energy of the morning. Okay, 3 deep, obnoxiously breaths in and out. Okay. Yes. Okay. If you hear noises, that's my cat. Being loud in the background. Okay, cat. Okay, so last night, I was reading from Black Mystic Guide of the Civil Rights Movement, the pastor's pastor, the father of so much of our modern Black theology, Howard Thurman, a great Black mystic. You might wonder, what is a mystic? A mystic is, as he describes it, just someone who desires to be in the all-encompassing presence and who sees divine encounter as necessary for the human existence. So I want to read a passage of what he was talking about, just to get started, just to talk about just what we gonna talk about today. Okay. So he says, it's a little lengthy, but I think it's really, really, really important. Okay. So he says, through religious experience, asserts Thurman, the individual comes to know God's loving presence in a personal and private way. This knowledge provides the individual a sense of ultimate security and confidence. Life takes on a new focus, requiring an assessment of the adequacies of one's commitment to God. Okay, here we go. This is the key part. Spiritual disciplines are essential to religious experience. These disciplines ready the individual for religious experience, and they are the means for understanding and enacting the insights that may follow. Throughout his writing, Thurman mentions numerous spiritual practices in the disciplines of the spirit. However, he focuses on 5: commitment, growth, suffering, prayer, and reconciliation. The identification of suffering as a discipline marks a distinction from the common tendency to treat suffering as something to be avoided. Thurman understands that there are times when suffering is the consequence of oppression, accidents, and disease. He advocates doing whatever one can within ethical limits to avoid such suffering. Still, suffering can also be a choice. Our commitment may clearly involve situations where suffering is either highly likely or assured. Let me read that again. Our personal commitments may clearly involve situations where suffering is either highly likely or assured. If for fear of suffering we fail to follow our commitment, then the fear of suffering has greater power over us than God. Let me read that again. If, for fear of suffering, we fail to follow our commitments, then the fear of suffering has greater power over us than God. Under these circumstances, the choice of suffering can be a faithful response to the commitment that results from the religious experience. The new focus and commitment inspire the desire to transform not only oneself, but also the world. The new focus and commitment resulting from religious experience inspire the desire to transform not only oneself, but also the world. Okay, so there's a lot in there. So let's start with this. The idea of suffering as a spiritual discipline, and as Thurman advocates, to be avoided in cases when it can be, but also suffering as something that helps to teach us, right? That suffering often can show us the strength of our commitments, right? If we have a commitment to love, if we have a commitment to peace, if we have a commitment to community, if we have a commitment to honesty, oftentimes the strength of that commitment will be revealed when we come into contact with the possibility of suffering. Because our fear of suffering, and in our fear of suffering, we often fail to follow our commitment, and thus demonstrate our fear is greater than our commitment. And not just any fear, but our fear of suffering is greater than our commitment, which means that our fear has greater power over us than our conviction, than our relationship, than our trust, than our desires. Okay, let me bring it down from the esoteric into the real world. Oftentimes we say that we are dedicated to being authentic in spaces, being authentic in our spirit, being authentic to who we really are. However, or let's just say period, we feel committed to authenticity, period. Then there are situations that occur in which, as he says, suffering is either highly likely or assured. So let's not even say this is physical suffering. Let's just say this is emotional embarrassment. This is anxiety. This is insecurity. In the situations where suffering is either highly likely or assured, our commitment to our authenticity fails us because we are more afraid of the suffering than we are dedicated to our commitment. And so Howard Thurman is beckoning us to allow ourselves to allow the suffering to be a choice that we can make in our life, so we no longer fear it and it no longer has greater power over us than our commitments, right? Because if we're so afraid of the opinions of others, of the loss of our power or position, of our lack of our confidence, then all things that we hold true have no real ground in which to be rooted, right? This is why it's so important that our rootedness and our confidence and our self-assuredness springs up from within, right? Because, for example, like I'm talking about authenticity. If authenticity is our commitment, if authenticity is our determination, authenticity is our driving factor, but it exists without a sense of understanding that our validation in our authenticity is in the natural expression of it. And by that I mean that the truth of our authenticity already exists. It already exists in the world, right? It is already a true factor on which we can rest. However, we as spiritual beings have a desire to let it be expressed to an even greater degree. We oftentimes confuse that desire to express it with its validity and its truest form. And so when that expression is not accepted, is not honored, is not seen or heard in a way that makes us feel validated, we often feel that an expression in itself is lacking, right? We're oftentimes feeling that expression in itself is rejected, that expression in itself is less than, and so that within us breeds fear, right? And so because we've had these experiences where we felt rejected, where we felt unheard, in which we felt unseen, there is an experience that we've had with fear. And then our commitment to being authentic bellows, it bends, it shakes in the face of that fear. It shakes in the face of that fear. And so then we wonder why is there such a lacking of authenticity when I feel so strongly that there is a purity inside myself. I feel so strongly that there is a clear connection inside myself. But when I try to express it, when I try to show up in that space, why is it that I'm lacking in my ability to do it? Right? Howard Thurman is asserting that our fear of suffering, right? Not our lack of our true connection, right? But our fear of suffering has taken us outside of our commitment. So, and this is what I think Jesus does such a good job of teaching us. That if we can allow ourselves to accept the possibility of suffering and not need to fear the shadow of suffering, then we can allow ourselves to be rooted in our commitments. If we allow ourselves to understand that there is a possibility that we may suffer, but this suffering is not greater than us, greater than our truth, greater than our commitment, greater than our connections, greater than who we are, then we can face and overcome any suffering. We can face and overcome any suffering. But it is only when we understand that we are rooted somewhere deeper. Here we go. When we understand that our rootedness is not from the expression externally, is not from the acceptance externally, is not from the affirmation externally, but it is from the connection, right? It is from, they say, it is written, do not look for the object of love. Look for the source of love, right? Oftentimes, we are looking for the object. What is the thing that will accept me? What is the thing out that will validate me? What is the thing that will give me space and allow me to exist in the world, right? But they're giving us messages so clearly that are saying, dearly beloved, right? Jesus came, he said, not to bring peace, but a sword. To unveil your eyes so you can see that not even death has power over you. That not even suffering has power over you, right? Not even the opinions of other people has power over you. Not only the threat of instability has power over you. No, you are liberated from all that you fear. Ooh! All that you fear has power over you. You have been liberated from. But what we must do is accept our freedom. We must accept our freedom. We must accept the redemptive grace that's been offered to us. We must embody the grace of freedom that's been given to us. right? It's not enough that Jesus came and showed us and overcome death, right? It's not enough that this is being offered to us over and over and over again at each moment, that there is redemption and forgiveness and love and clarity and a new way presented to us, right? It's not enough, right? Because we are powerful creators, and we have the choice to ignore our opportunity for freedom. We have that choice, and we have that power, and obviously we have made that choice over and over and over and over again. But today, today, we can choose to accept the freedom to stand in the face of possible or even likely suffering, to be rooted in our commitments, to be rooted in our authenticity, to be rooted in our freedom, to be rooted in grace, to accept the power that wants to flow to us, to accept the creativity that wants to flow through us, to accept the abundance that wants to flow through us, to accept the liberation from financial bondage that wants to flow through us, to accept the kind of ideas that create worlds, right? We are being offered in each moment the most powerful gift, right? The most powerful vision, the most powerful clarity, but we must say yes. And that's all that's required, right? The most essential thing to our life being is breathing. The most essential thing is our breath. And we don't even have to do it, right? We are breathed. We are breathed. The oxygen is provided for us. So too is the power of the Spirit flowing through us. So too it is the prosperity of the Spirit flowing through us. So too it is the forgiveness and the love and the grace and the wholeness and the healing flowing through us. But we must say yes. We must say yes. And that's all that is required. All else will be granted to us upon our yes. And that's the whole thing, right? Will we be courageous enough to allow ourselves to want what we want, to be loved, to be held, to be helped, to be held, to be comforted, to be empowered? Will we allow ourselves to be forgiven? Will we allow ourselves to come into grace? Will we allow ourselves to come into redemption? Will we allow ourselves to overcome the shadow of fear? Will we walk? Will we walk? Will we walk knowing that help is always offered to us? All that is required is our yes. All that is required is our yes. All that is required is our yes. Yes, yes, yes. I am willing. I am willing. I am willing. I am willing to walk into the face of suffering and say, here I am. Here I will stand. Here I know I am empowered. Here I know I am protected. Here I know I am covered. Here I know I still have strength. Here I know I still have power. Here I know I still am protected. Here I know that I was crafted before I even knew who I was, that I was loved. Here I know that like my ancestors before me, that still I will rise, that still I will rise, that still I will rise, that suffering may come, that all those things that try to knock me down may come. It all may come because I am resting. I am resting in the bosom of love. I am resting in the bosom of protection. I am resting in the bosom of deliverance. I am resting in the bosom of liberation. I am resting in the bosom of power, that in the moment of my need, it has already been answered. That in me is the power to create worlds. That in me is answered prayer. That in me is the wisdom of all great teachers that have come before me. That over and over and over and over again, I have been provided for. And so I know in this moment, where I face the shadow of the valley of death, that I will fear no evil, because his rod and his staff are with me. The great mother protects me. The great ancestors inform me. Great love wraps itself around me. Great wisdom fills my mouth. Great courage fills my heart. Great comfort lays me down right by the still waters. That my head is being anointed, that a table is being set before me in the presence of my enemies. I know that through my yes, I allow the divine spirit to enter into this relationship. I know that over and over again, I will be protected. I know that there is great love that awaits me. That I know that though I may go through the valley of the shadow, that I may go through hell or high water, that they are with me, 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 that they are with me. And so, what does it say? If God be for us, who can stand against? Not me. Who can stand against? We are here in the great presence of love. We are here in the great presence of peace. We are here in the great presence of power. And thus, we're not gonna fold when the possibility or even assuredness of suffering comes. Because let it come. Let it come. And let us watch the power of God work. Let it come and let us watch the power of God work. Let what may come. I am completely open to accept all that is coming, because I know the bigness, the mightiness, and the faithfulness of God that exists within me. The mighty faithfulness, the mercifulness, the powerful way-makingness, chain-breakingness, miracle-workingness. So let it come. Let it come. Let it come. Let it come. And I will rest. And I will rest. And I will rest in this heart. That's it. That's the word. 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 Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you. May you experience the great wave of liberation from fear today. May you experience the curiosity that asks, how will God show up for me in a new way today? May you experience the curiosity that asks, how may peace ground me in a new way today? May you experience the curiosity that wonders, how may love hold me in a new way today? May you experience the blessing, the wonder, the graciousness of freedom, of rooted in your values and commitments, of knowing that nothing that comes to destroy you shall prosper. Because love is on your side. Because love has created you. Because you have been shaped in the image and the likeness of love. As the beloved, you are. You are the beloved. You are the beloved. You are the beloved. Say yes to this. Allow it to come within you. Allow it to hold you. Allow it to protect you. Allow it to be what grounds you. Allow it to be what roots you. You are the beloved. I love you. Thank you. Be blessed.